Hi guys, so in today's video I'm going to do a little book review of all the books that I read in 2024. I'm going to just show you guys some of the 5-star reads that I read, and then also some of my favorite books that I read this year. My 2025 TBR, which is kind of big so far, as you can see. And then also there's so many books coming out this year, and I made a list of like a few of the books that I'm excited to read this year that are coming out. So let's get into this video. I'm excited. As you can see, I have a lot of books right now. I got another bookcase recently, so now I have 3 bookcases, one right there, one back there, and then one in front of me. Which I was running out of book space, so I'm like, I'm gonna buy a new bookcase. So then now I have an excuse to go and buy more books because I have so much space now. On Goodreads, it says that I read around 50 books this year, which I think I read more than that, but I didn't log them all on Goodreads. But for the reading challenge, my goal was to read 50 books, and I did that. And then I made a list of some of the books that I rated 5 stars this year. Honestly, like, I thought I rated more books 5 stars this year, but I only logged on here 2 books, which is surprising. But I noticed I rated so many books 4 stars. I guess I'm becoming more of a picky reader. So the books I rated 5 stars this year was, I read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series at the beginning of this year, I think, and I literally fell in love with it. It's such a good series. It's like a mix of my favorite genres, fantasy and romance. It's so good. Enemies to lovers, which is my favorite book trope. Yeah, but I read all 3 of these books: the Once Upon a Broken Heart, The Ballad of Never After, and Curse for True Love. All of these books were so good. I feel like they just kept getting better and better as I read book to book. But I would say out of these 3, my favorite book would be either the second or the third one. Those were so good. But I'll give you a little summary of the books. So Evangeline Fox has always believed in true love and happy endings until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Desperate to stop the wedding, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic, immortal Prince of Hearts, but she soon discovers that bargaining with the Prince of Hearts is a dangerous game. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever after or the most exquisite tragedy. So yeah, the Prince of Hearts, Jax, Evangeline Fox. It's so good. It's so good. I would highly recommend this if you love a good enemies to lovers, because this is high on enemies to lovers, and it's young adult, so there's like no spice in it. And also the second book goes into a love triangle, so if you like that too, it's very good. Okay, next, kind of going off of that, the Caraval trilogy. I heard that you should read these books first before reading Once Upon a Broken Heart, because it comes before. It's like a prequel to Once Upon a Broken Heart, and Jax is in this series before Once Upon a Broken Heart takes place. But I read this after and it was fine. You don't have to read this first. But this series was so good as well. I think Stephanie Garber has become one of my favorite authors this year. I need to look up and see if she has any other books coming out. I know she came out with a novella of the series called Spectacular, I'm pretty sure. I didn't end up getting it because I don't really like reading novellas because they're shorter, and I'm like, is it worth it to get it, you know? Yeah, the Caraval series. I didn't rate this 5 stars. I rated it 4 stars, I think. But now looking back, I really enjoyed the series, so I kind of feel like I should have rated it 5 stars. I'll read the little summary. So Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where her and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway, once-a-year performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year, Scarlet's long-dreamt-of invitation finally arrives. With the help of a mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlet away to the show. Only, as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Caraval's mastermind organizer legend. It turns out that this season's Caraval revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlet has been told that everything that happens during Caraval is only an elaborate performance, but she nevertheless becomes enmeshed in a game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether Caraval is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off, and her sister disappears forever. It's really good, and I love the like little things she adds into it, like visual things. It's a really cool. And the map. They're pretty thick, but like I enjoyed every bit of it. This is also fantasy, romance. It's really good. But it's cool because in the first book, it's in Scarlet's POV, I'm pretty sure. And then this one's in her sister Tella's POV. And then the third one, I think it's in Tella's as well. It's just a fun book that I like was sucked into the world, and the world of Caraval is really cool and magical, and like just to think of like coming up with that in your brain is like amazing. I can never think of a world like this. She has an amazing mind, Stephanie Garber. The other 5-star book that I read this year was Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. This is the sequel to Better Than the Movie. It came out in October. I love Lynn Painter's young adult books. I think I've rated them all 5 stars so far. They're very good. It just goes along with Wes and Liz's story, but now they're in college and some things happen. There's some grief that Wes experiences. Liz has grown so much. She's changed. They've grown apart after something happened. But now they're slowly finding their way back together, back to each other. But it's really good. I liked it. And then that's it for the 5-star books. Let me show you the other books that I enjoyed this year. Rated most of these 4 stars. I think all of them 4 stars, I'm pretty sure. Oh, wait. There was another book that I don't know why I didn't put it on my Goodreads, but the sequel to 1,000 Boy Kisses, I think I should have rated it 5 stars, because now thinking about it, it was such a good book. It was so sad, and there's a lot of grief and sadness in it, but it was also a mix of like love. And it was so good. I didn't enjoy this book as much. I feel like there was like too much, I don't know, like non-realistic love in it, I guess. Yeah, I read this book this year. It was pretty good. And then I read the sequel, which is 1,000 Broken Pieces, I'm pretty sure. It's about her sister. I don't want to really give it away. It's just about her sister after she died. And in the second book, oh, what's her name? I forget what her name is. Her sister's name. I think it's like, I can't remember. But her counselor sends her to this retreat where like kids her age are like dealing with grief. So she goes away for like, I want to say like a month, and she goes through a lot of stuff, a lot of mind things, and she meets this guy there, and she learns to let her sister go, and yeah, it's really good. Next is The Housemaid. I actually enjoyed this book. It's like a thriller type of thing. She's a housemaid. She becomes a housemaid for this really rich family, but like things just don't seem right. And then the husband is like crazy and things happen. She gets locked up in the attic and he tortures her and all that stuff happens. But yeah, it was good. And I liked it so much that I ended up buying the second and third book of it, but I haven't read these yet because, yeah, I don't know if I will. I put these on my TBR for this year, but I have no idea if I'm going to read these. Okay, next, Girl Abroad by Ellie Kennedy. This was so good. I think the reason I loved this book was because I want to go to England so badly, and she goes abroad to London to study abroad in London, and she didn't know before she got on the plane to London that her roommates are all guys. It's kind of like a love triangle situation. She becomes friends with one, like good friends with one guy, and then the other two guys, they're like good looking. It's kind of like I feel like it's kind of like My Life with the Walter Boys kind of situation with the brothers, but they're not brothers in this. But yeah, she goes to study abroad in London. Her name is Abby Bly. Her dad is like this famous singer in America. Yeah, he's a retired rock star. Lynn Painter again, Happily Never After, came out in March of last year, 2024. This is her adult romance book, Happily Never After. I actually really enjoyed this. It was really good. I'm surprised I didn't rate it 5 stars, but maybe because of all the spiciness that was in it. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it was like a little more than I would like. But pretty much it's about Sophie Steinbeck. She's about to get married, but like finds out that she doesn't want to marry the guy, I think. And she ends up hiring this person who goes to weddings and objects to get them out of getting married. After she doesn't get married, she goes out for an anti-wedding type of celebration. She learns more about Max, the objector. And she's like, I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to help him out. And they meet and they end up doing objecting together. And yeah, but it's fun. It's like a different type of rom-com approach, which I enjoyed it very much. I think that's it for the books that I read this year. So now I'm going to show you guys my TBR for 2025. I just finished one book this year, my first book of this year, which was The Love Wager by Lynn Painter. It was very good. I rated it 4 stars. Oh, then the second book I'm going to read this year is, I'm going to start this series that I got for Christmas, The Naturals. I heard the series is so good and I'm very excited. So I'm going to read all of these books this year. I love a new series, especially since the last few series of books that I've read have been so good and I've like become obsessed with them. So I've heard a lot of good things about this series, so I'm so excited to read it. And it's also by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, who's the author of the Inheritance Game series, which I read, and it's very good. So I'm excited to read this. I think this is about... I've also noticed that I love young adult books better than adult books because, I don't know, these are just more fun and like carefree, and it's just easier to read, I guess. And it doesn't have like a lot of spice. It's about 17-year-old Cassie Hobbs. She's a natural at reading people. Piecing together the tiniest details, she can tell you who you are and what you want, but it's not a skill that she's ever taken seriously. That is, until the FBI comes knocking. They've begun a classified program that uses exceptional teenagers to crack infamous cold cases, and they need Cassie. What Cassie doesn't realize is that there's more at risk than a few unsolved homicides, especially when she's sent to live with a group of teens whose gifts are as unusual as her own. Soon it becomes clear that no one in the Naturals program is what they seem, and when a new killer strikes, danger looms close. Caught in a lethal game of cat and mouse with the killer, the Naturals are going to have to use all their gifts just to survive. This sounds so good. I'm so excited to read this. I'm going to start reading it today. As I said before, these books, 1 and 2, on my TBR. Don't know if we'll end up reading them, but hopefully. If I'm in a mood for like a mystery thriller, then possibly I will. Skyshade. This is the 3rd book in the Lightlark series. I read the 1st and 2nd book, Lightlark and Nightbane. They were pretty good. So I'm excited to read this. But the thing is though, I need to like reread the 1st and 2nd book because I kind of forget what happened. And I don't want to just jump into this without remembering. Or maybe Maybe once I jump into this, I'll remember. But the cover is really pretty. Ruthless Vows. I have the second book too that I got for Christmas. Wait, no. This is the first book. Divine Rivals and then Ruthless Vows. I'm going to try and read these this year. I think they're fantasy romance with enemies to lovers, I'm pretty sure. Yep. That's exciting. Let's read the synopsis. When two young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell in a war between gods to seal their fate forever. Wow. I'm excited. My little sister got me this for Christmas. She found it at the thrift store. It says, Before I Do. It's by Sophie Cousin. So I'm going to try and read this. If I want like a fun little rom-com type of book, then I'll pick this up. I'm so excited to read this book. I've been waiting since it came out. I was going to get the paperback of this because honestly I prefer paperback books better than hardcovers because they're just easier to like hold and read. The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. She's probably my favorite young adult mystery writer. It's very good. And this one looked pretty good when she first like announced that she was coming out with a new book. It says, 16 years ago, Rachel Price vanished and young Belle was the only witness, but she has no memory of it. Rachel is gone, long presumed dead, and Belle wishes everyone would just move on. But the case is dragged up from the past when the Price family agrees to a true crime documentary. Belle can't wait for filming to end, for life to go back to normal. And then the impossible happens. Rachel Price reappears, and life will never be normal again. Oh, that sounds so good. I really badly want to read the Hunger Games series, as well as the prequel. Also, another one of their books, of Suzanne Collins' books, is coming out this year. I think it's about Haymitch when he was younger. But yeah, I really want to read The Hunger Games this year, even though I've watched the movies like so many times. I heard that the books are a little different, so I have the whole series now. I found these two at the thrift store, and then I had this one. And then I bought this a while back at Target. Haven't read this, haven't watched the movie. I wanted to read this before I watched the movie, so hopefully I'll do like a little, maybe I'll do a little like reading vlog of reading the Hunger Games series. And then I'll watch the movies. I don't know. That might be fine. Then Powerless. I've heard mixed reviews on this book. I think there's a sequel. A second and third book. And then I think there's another one coming out this year. It's a fantasy, romance. It's pretty. The cover is so pretty. And then finally, Magnolia Parks. I've had this book for like a year now. There's a booktuber I follow, Sarah Caroli. She's like obsessed with this book and it sounds really good. Someone says it's like a Gossip Girls kind of vibe, and I actually started watching Gossip Girls for the first time. My goal is to maybe read this series this year. I don't know. I might. But I have so many series I have to read. But yeah, that's all the books. That's all the books on my TBR. And I'll probably buy other books as well this year, probably a lot. This is just a list of some of the books that are being released this year that I am excited to get and read. So first one, Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. It comes out April 1st. The cover looks so pretty and I'm excited to read it. I love Abby Jimenez books. And this book looks really good. Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. The cover, again, looks so pretty. I have a couple of her books. That comes out June 17th. So I'm excited to read that. I'm actually really excited because Sounds Like Love. Is there music involved? Maybe. One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune comes out May 6th. It might be the book of the summer. I'm definitely going to read that in the summertime to get me in the summer feels. Like I said earlier, Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. That's another prequel with Haymitch, I think. It comes out March 18th. And then Story of My Life by Lucy Score comes out March 11th. I have a few of her books. She's not my favorite author because she does have a lot of spice in it, but I read the summary of this book and it looked really good. So I might end up getting it. The Love Haters by Catherine Center comes out May 20th. I read the summary of this and it looks really good, and I love Catherine Center's books. While We're Young by Kale Walter comes out March 4th. I have a few of her books. I have these two books by her, What Happens After Midnight, The Summer of Broken Rules, and I really enjoyed those books. Those were really good. I think it's more young. I think it's young adult. And then this one, While We're Young, sounds very good, and the cover is so pretty. Berry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore comes out March 13th, and then also The Gingerbread Bakery by Laurie Gilmore comes out September 11th. I read the first two books, no, the three books that came out. Also, the cover of these are so pretty. It just makes me wanna read it. Okay, then the last three that I have on mine are all by Lynn Painter. The Wish Switch by Lynn Painter comes out May 13th. It's her first children's book, and obviously I'm gonna get it. And when my sister gets older, she's 9, almost 10 right now, and I think the people in the book are like in middle school, so like once she gets to middle school, then I can give it to her so that she can read it and she can fall in love with Lynn Painter's books. But yeah, just a summary of this book looked pretty good, and it's by Lynn Painter, so I'm gonna buy any book by Lynn Painter. Then Made for Each Other by Lynn Painter, it's another adult romance book by her, comes out July 15th. And then the third, Accidentally Amy, comes out January 14th, which is tomorrow. The thing is, I already read this book a long time ago, but she didn't like officially publish it then, and now she's like officially publishing it, and like it's like changed up a little bit, but like the plot is the same. It's just the wording, and like I think it's in POV instead of third person, so I'm gonna buy it. Anyway, that's all the books that I'm so excited to read this year. I know there's like a bunch more that are coming out, like Ali Hazelwood's coming out with books, but like a bunch of other popular authors coming out with books that I might end up getting anyway. But yeah, those are the ones that I'm very excited to read this year. But yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.